Hey guys, Annie here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of Evergreen Harbour, which is a world that came with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. And I don't usually build in this home, but I thought I might. I thought I'd come back to this world and do some building. This build wasn't overly planned. It was just a build that I kind of pulled inspiration from the neighbouring houses and I came up with a house. I knew I wanted to do the wraparound porch at the front. I knew that was something I wanted to do, and this lot is very horizontal, so we do have a side yard. I do move the building over a little bit, and we do manage to get 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a small kind of garden space, and a very small pool. Alright, so I really hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. Let me know what type of content you would like to see in the future. Do you like this type of content? And yeah, have you been enjoying the storyline builds for September? So this is what I'm doing all of this month. So we've had a couple so far, some beautiful homes. We had a European townhouse, and we had a very classical blue suburban, and now we are building what is a kind of a very simplistic, it is a brick and weatherboard kind of sliding home, and it's one of those homes that is a bit deceiving. It looks smaller than it actually is. It's actually quite big inside. As I said, this is a 4x2. All right, let's get into this storyline. So as we are doing the exterior, I am at the stage working out the wallpaper that I want to use. I did go back and forth. It took me a little bit to work it out. In the end, I use the brick that's from the chimney. We do change that. I'm pretty sure all of these columns might get changed as well. I think I use the growing together columns in the end. But yeah, so this is just just trying to work out that exterior. Gone in with a foundation. I really love the overhanged section in the front. It gives a little bit of detail. The little cheeky little chimney. We do remove the trim from the frieze from the chimney, but I leave it on the other parts because I feel like it wasn't realistic. And I am just going to quickly map out where the backyard is. Side yard, sorry. But yeah. It's very small. We do fit a pool, and we fit like a seating area, a grill, and we do, I think we put like a woodworking table, as well as potentially some eco objects. I didn't want it to be a full eco lot, but that does play a little bit into the family that I'm about to talk about. So while we do the landscaping, let me go through the storyline of this particular build. So initially you have a family with parents and a female teen and a male infant. And then from there you have a grandparent who has moved in because they are not well. So they've got a sick grandparent who they've decided to make room for. So there is a room downstairs, which essentially, if I was to do it again, it probably would have been a formal living room. But in this storyline, it made sense to have that room converted to be a grandparent's room. And even how it's furnished, it kind of depicts that it is for an older sim as opposed to just an adult's room. So yeah, and I guess this kind of semi-blended family is trying to make it work, and I guess they have very different style and different views. The dad wants to get more into eco living, and he likes his woodworking. Mum loves to garden and bake. I do feel that the mum is a stay-at-home mum because there is a young child. And I think that potentially the grandparent may help with that. But yeah, at this stage, that's how it is. So it's a very interesting dynamic. So we're just inside kind of looking into the floor plan of the downstairs. As you can see, I've basically done a lot of the kitchen and the dining. We will go back through and finalize that section. and clutter it up. We then have this space here, which where through these archways, this is where the living room will be. And then there's a door off to that downstairs bedroom, which of course is a room that I was mentioning that probably should have been a living room. Like, I would have done this a little differently, but they've just got a small living room, but it's okay. We've managed to get a fourth bedroom. Downstairs between the kitchen and the living room, there is a smaller room. That is the downstairs bathroom. And then upstairs, you have a further 3 rooms and a bathroom, I believe. Yeah. So the larger room is the master bedroom. And then you have, I believe, the teens room down where the end of where that half wall is. And then you have, I think, is it the bathroom in between? Potentially. No, I think it's the one on the end. So the one on the end is the bathroom. Yep, where that tiling's going. And then there's a second bedroom. So you've got 3 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs, and then 1 downstairs and the parents' room. Well, sorry, the grandparents. In the end, we have gone with some base game windows. I don't use these particular windows a lot. They are more of a Victorian style, but I did like them for the front facing of the build, and these beautiful little shutter windows that come from Wedding Stories. I thought they were really lovely just for the upstairs. All the other windows are just our base game ones. I do sort them out. The ones that we had initially were just a little bit too modern, and I feel like they did not fit the build. So I'm just going around now adding in all the windows, especially here in the kitchen. I do like to have a horizontal window in a kitchen. I think it's quite nice, a larger window, but I felt like I wanted to use, you'll see it in a minute, I use like the hanging fruit basket piece that we got with the kitchen clutter kit, and I felt that, I needed that space. Alright, so I've gone in with, I believe, debug for a lot of the landscaping. I struggled with landscaping in this one because I really just didn't know what colors I wanted to use, which plants I wanted to use, and flowers. In the end, what's there, I do delete and I redo it, which is the bit that you're seeing now. I have gone in with, I started with the trees and the fencing. This is a debug fencing that I think is part of the Eco Lifestyle debug menu. And I put in a car, and I'm just trying to spruce up the area. I do realize now that there's actually quite a lot of space in the front of this build as opposed to the side. So potentially I could have placed this lot slightly differently on the lot, and it would have given me a bit more of a backyard or side yard, but I still like it. I think it's a really lovely space. This is the end result of the landscaping. So we've gone in with some shrubs and some daisies, some ferns. We've gone in with just some, I don't know what these yellow flowers are, but I wanted to put some more color in. I think that the yellow really complements the brown that's actually in the brick. And then, yeah, oh, by the way, that is the final exterior as well. I'm really happy with the color combination of this house. It's very classical, and I think it's very different to the surrounding area as well. I think a lot of the homes in Evergreen Harbour look a bit dull, so I really like that this build does stand out. This build would also look really good in like Newcrest, Willow Creek, that kind of vibe. I've used this beautiful tall plant. I don't usually use this. I used to use it a lot, but I've used it a lot more nowadays. I've put some trash bags by the bin. I thought that was a nice little touch. And I've put this random tree kind of closed in. I don't know why I did it, but it works. I think because with the fence, it was a bit hard to fence, so... And I just realized I could have used that fence all the way around, but that's okay. So we are now moving in to the actual side yard. So we've just done some pathing that obviously leads from the front door to the carport and to here. We've just put in a grill, some seating. I do attempt to put in a small pool. I do think I keep the pool. It's very small, but I think that it's okay. I think that it's worth having one. As I mentioned, for the storyline of this particular build, I wanted to make sure that there was some gardening. I put in the bug, I don't know, it's like a bug farm, worm farm thing. That comes with Eco Lifestyle, I believe. I thought that might be really good. I did consider putting in some of like the fizz making machine or the candle making machine, just because, or the fabricator, just because that's what came with this particular pack. But in the end, I didn't. I opted out of it because this build was like, it's not super tiny, but for it being a 4x2, it definitely uses up a lot of the space. Like there really isn't a lot left. So I didn't want to add too much. I did put these vertical wall planters, lots of gardening stuff, and I think it's good. But it works for the storyline. Put in a chess table out here. You've got some lounges. I still think it's a nice little space. I really do. We will be moving back inside to kind of spruce up all of the furnishings. I think we do go through the kitchen, and the kitchen gets quite a bit of a change. Oh, that's where my basketball hoop is. In last week's video, I mentioned there was a basketball hoop. Must have been this specific build that I was thinking of. So I put in some kids stuff outside as well. Alright, so we are painting the inside. I did change it to a Parenthood kind of wainscoting wallpaper. I love this wallpaper. I use it all the time. I think that if you don't have Parenthood and you're a builder, definitely get Parenthood. It is the one pack that I think really is useful for that. I think that the creator sim is terrible, but the actual build items are pretty good, especially for a family home. At this stage, we are just painting all of the bedrooms. This was a really lovely room. It was quite a moody room, and I love the wallpaper and how it paired it with a solid color. I've actually gone with the Realm of Magic wallpaper in the master bedroom. I just liked it. I like the flowers and the wainscoting. It kind of paired with the rest of the build, so that was quite nice. And speaking of the rest of the build, we are now just back into the kitchen, and I'm just working out what color scheme I want to do and just adding a little bit more furnishings. We got this cabinet hutch that we got with Eco Lifestyle. I've used that in here, and I've of course used the Eco Lifestyle curtains. I mentioned this in last week's video. I really love these curtains. I used to use them a lot. We have better curtains in the game now, so I don't use them as much as I used to, but I definitely still use them. And this is the point where we change the counters to blue. I really love this kitchen. There's something about it that just really screams family and like family friendly. We've gone with a rounded dining table. That comes from, I think it comes from the Comfy Kish kit. The chairs are actually from Parenthood. I forgot how much I liked these dining chairs. I actually think they're really sweet. And yeah, we've just gone in, as I said, a lot of Parenthood. So the backsplash, the counters, all the cabinetry, the fridge, all comes from Parenthood. We've gone in with that fruit basket. Like I said, I kind of like that little area. It's not too bad. I think it's a nice little space. We do end up putting in a lot of the assets from the kitchen clutter kit. We also put the trolley, and I put the trolley where that buffet table was to the side. I thought that that was a really good use of the space. And I'm like just this little awkward space where the half wall is near the chairs. I think that that was a really good idea. I used this little lunchbox on the dining table with the groceries bag. Again, this is a very busy household, very busy family household. And I just thought that having all that clutter would depict that. So I've used the trolley. I think it's okay. It's not too bad. It definitely could have gone into the center of the kitchen, but I do think where the dining table was, it made the spacing a bit awkward. So I do like it off to the side. Apologies if you can hear any rain. It is winter where I live, so If you do hear some rain, apologies. Hopefully it's not too annoying. But yeah, I do try and do my recordings when it's not raining, but it's really hard to plan that in the middle of winter. All right, we are moving into the living room space. So we've got a piano, we've got a bookcase. I love this bookcase that comes with Parenthood because it's got the tubs, and I feel like that's realistic. Like you could, they might have toys in them or school projects and things like that. I think that's really a good use of the space. I've really loved this couch that came with Basement Treasures. It's an older couch, and I've used it in a couple of builds this month where I've got family homes where I don't want the family to come across as very wealthy. And I guess that it's just a standard family home. And I do feel that this particular chair potentially has been passed down, or I don't know. It's not modern and new is what I was going for. I really love the armchairs. So those orange armchairs actually come from Eco Lifestyle. As I said, I really wanted to make sure I use that pack as much as I could. And I put some cushions on the couch just to kind of pull from the pink that comes from the little blanket that's kind of thrown over the end. And we've got a little study nook. We are kind of racing through it, but this is the downstairs bathroom. This is the only bathroom you will see furnished. You'll see the other one in the tour. I basically use the same counter from the kitchen, same backsplash, and just used a very basic layout. I love this mirror. It comes from Growing Together. That plant comes from Base Game. It's one of my favorites in that purple swatch, that lilac swatch. Use a little bit of the Sleek Bathroom Kit in here just to, decorate the space. I love these messy towels. I think these are lovely. And just obviously the rug that came with the Sleep Bathroom Kit. All right, I think we're moving into the bedrooms. So the first bedroom that we're doing is Grandma's, or the grandparents' room. And I love this Base Game bed. I love it because it's actually got a good energy rating, but it's just really dated and old. And I've paired it with these curtains. These curtains are the same curtains I used last week's build, where I did that dated European townhouse. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. That is a lovely build. And it uses that kind of style. It's that kind of theme. And yeah, it's a very basic bedroom. It's essentially not a lot of furniture for Grandma, but that's okay. All right, we are upstairs into the landing space. We have a cards table. We have a arts and crafts. This was a weird space. It was big enough that it needed some furniture, but it wasn't too big to fit like a whole living space up here. So I think I've done okay with what I've put in. I've just added in, of course, some more curtains to match the ones from downstairs. I've gone in with this chair from Seasons. I do use this a lot, especially when I want to use green. I use that chair a lot. So in this particular build, you've got greens, pinks, blues, yellows, those type of colors. I've gone in with some wall sconces around the place. They are the ones from Growing Together. They're my favorite. Even though they're a little bit modern, I still think they're just so pretty. So I've used that. And we are now moving into the master bedroom. I've gone in with another Base Game bed. This one is a little bit more Victorian. I think it works really well with that Realm of Magic wallpaper. I really love the vibe that it gives off. We've gone in with an ottoman and just a very simple layout for my master bedrooms. All my bedrooms have a pretty similar layout. I've used my favorite mirror of the game, one of them. That one is from Get Together. I've used these. Oh, I've put some candles and maybe a book and maybe some extra clutter. Oh, and some baby pictures. It's interesting how often I use that asset of the baby photos that came with the nursery, storybook nursery kit. I think it's great. I just think it's realistic that you'd have baby photos. I don't know. So yeah, we've added that in. And I've gone in with the Strangerville rug that I absolutely love. And we are now moving in to the teens bedroom. I think this is a feminine teens room. And I will give this rug a shout out again. So this rug is from Lovestruck. That shade of blue is perfect from the shade of blue from the Paranormal Stuff wallpaper. That's where that kind of accent wallpaper comes from. Just with like a solid color. It could have even come from Lovestruck, that solid color. It's a bit dark for it to be base game. I really love this space. I put in some photos and I love that little tree. Even though they're a teenager, I still think that it looks nice. Gone in with a toy box. Maybe they're a preteen. I feel like they're a preteen because they still have toys. All right, we are into the final room of the build, which is the infants room. I use a lot of the Storybook nursery kit in here, paired with base game. It's just kind of a blue and yellow theme, I guess. There's not really like any other type of theme. I really enjoyed these chairs from Lovestruck. They're really pretty. They kind of look like a shell, and I don't know, it just paired well with the color scheme, and the blue is really lovely. All right, we are live in game and we're just going to go around for a tour. So you enter in the build into an open space, which is a small kind of improv hallway that leads into a dining and kitchen area. I love this kitchen. I think it's beautiful. You walk down through the archway into the living space, which has a study nook, and through that door there you have grandma's room. I was mentioning the downstairs bathroom, so you do have the downstairs bathroom. Yep, and then going upstairs, you have that kind of landing space, which is just a little bit of, I don't know, activities into the master bedroom, which has a very different vibe to the rest of the house, by the way. This is the upstairs bathroom. It's really lovely. A really good size bathroom as well. There's that infant's room, and we have that preteens room. Really love the color scheme in there. We then head outside and you have a lot of activities. You got gardening, a lot of kids activities. You got the pool, the entertainment area, the woodworking table, and yeah, it's just such a really beautiful family home. I really enjoy this build. I hope you do too. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.